unfair market advantage.
MasterCard
Yeah.
website wasn't a similar attack.
Yeah, MasterCard website. Which attack?
Operation Payback, they call it, because of WikiLeaks.
That is different. That's not a DDoS attack. It's more of, it is denial of service. It was, what if there was, I'll tell you what if there was. It was kind of political. Right? I mean, if you did something bad to my friend, I'd make sure that I caused damage to you, right? That was a motive. MasterCard, essentially, after WikiLeaks was posted, they're like, our business is affected or whatever, or we are on the good books of WikiLeaks, let's do something bad. So they did bad to the guys who did bad to WikiLeaks, all right? You might call it political reasons or whatever, yeah. Another life example was, this is a country level problem, right? Estonia is a very small country in Europe. There was a statue there, right? What the statue is?
Yeah.
It was moved for some reason, and then people were very upset about it. The statue of one of their big leaders or whatever. And then they said, well, the Russians caused it. Let's launch an attack against Russian servers. In fact, the Russians were upset, so they caused an attack against Estonian servers, right? And what happened there? The foreign minister's website in Estonia crashed, okay? Because there was a DDoS attack that was launched by the Russian servers against Estonia. And that attack spread out to all government institutions, including key businesses like the banks. The entire Estonian IT infrastructure crippled for 12, 14 hours. A major problem. These were, for those of you who are aware of computer networks, these were simple ICMP flips, like pings. They're simple network packets that are sent back to back to figure out which IP address or whatever is where. And there were about 10 attacks that lasted for about 10 hours. The entire country succumbed to the traffic load. So much traffic was there. It's like grocery store at 5 p.m. So many people inside it, you can't go in. Okay. What happens? If you were in Estonia, you had a credit card issued by an Estonian bank. It wouldn't be verified if you use it here today because of this attack. And if you have all your credit cards from Estonia, you're broke because you can't buy anything because the entire IT infrastructure was crippled. It lasted for about 24 hours and people were suffering and affected. And then the hackers backed out by themselves. Okay. And things were normal, back to normal. Another kind of security issue these days, major problem, was noted by the US government as one of the major concerns that they have today. I don't know if it's directly security, but it is kind of just to deal with security in a way. It's called spam. Spam is essentially unsolicited bulk messages that are sent out to hundreds of thousands of email addresses, right? You send these big messages out, and every day you have the spam folder. It's filled with messages because 80 to 85% of emails today are spam. Okay. They use the network traffic up. They send data. A good number of those messages contain links that are very bad. Because when you click them, you're sent to the phishing websites and all sorts of problems. You and I are educated. There are people who are laymen and don't know much about technology. They'll click and give their usernames and passwords. Never people do. Right? So how to deal with that? It's a major concern to the US government. Now, why is it linked to security? Because the guys who send out the spams are bots, or zombies. Okay. Yes.
What's the difference between phishing and spam?
Well, spam is not necessarily phishing. Phishing is a subset of spam. In the sense that the message that you receive in your spam folder may be from legitimate users as well. Right? It might be from marketing firms. They have valid websites. They want you to buy their products, right? It's not a phishing website, it's a valid website. They want you to buy it. They don't know you. What did they do? They send spam to a whole bunch of users, potential customers. They expect that they click the link and buy things from them, right? Sometimes it's phishing. So in your spam folder, you'll find phishing messages. At the same time, valid, legitimate messages. You have links to their websites, web servers from there to buy their products, right? So that's it. Clear? Now, let's That's how they survive, right? Spammers, they hire botnets. So they're all connected. You see that? This black pool of the black hat community, the underground community, it's all connected. Spammers, they hire botnets, right? Botnets are big networks of machines that are purchased for some certain amount of time, as I just mentioned. And just tell them, hey, listen, you have these addresses, you need to go send this message to all these addresses. Okay. What happens in effect? Botnets make enough money from the spammers that help them protect their own networks from defenses that are proposed against these attacks. See how it's called connected? It's a circle. Botnets make money, they build better tools to protect their botnets from attack detection mechanisms. And who's affected here? We are affected. Spammers benefit from this exercise. The botnets benefit from this exercise. It's all business. Okay. What you could do, right? As a person, just don't go and buy pirate software. You don't want people to make your computer convert into a bot. Okay. What's the least you can do? Have antivirus, anti-malware, and you don't buy pirate software. It might contain things inside it that can convert your computer to a bot. Okay. Instead of and I'm sure no one else does. No one here does. All right. This is network security. Again, it's part of computer security. But let's briefly mention what a firewall is. Okay. Then again, software experts might say we have software firewalls as well. Yeah. So from a network perspective, we have these big walls, or in Arabic we call them jadar nabiyya. These are firewalls. You know what they do? They burn packets. You have a message coming in from your friend, he's going to burn it because the firewall doesn't like it. Right? I don't let this message pass through me into my network. For example, here we have two firewalls. One is connecting your KFUPF network to the internet, and the other one is internal. Say, for example, your college computer science and engineering, and you're burning packets here. You're burning packets here that don't burn there. Yeah. Why do you burn packets? Because you got rules. Right? There are rules over here that tell you that, hey, burn this packet and don't burn that packet. Because this packet seems to be bad. As a reason, sometimes you don't receive messages, right? Have you experienced that? Email will send out to you, it's never received. From outside, say for example, Gmail or somewhere. Because the firewall intervened, the firewall thinks it's smart. It says that this packet looks bad, burn it. Okay. Drop it, run. Simple rules here. Say for example, walk. The first rule says no matter which local machine this message is coming out from, no matter which port number it's coming out from, if it's heading towards this particular destination spike bot, what do you do? Block it. Firewalls don't just burn packets that are coming in, they burn packets that are going out as well, right? So you're not just protecting your network from the world, you're protecting the world from your network as well. Because you might have botnets, because some people want some pirate software installed into your machines here, and it will affect machines all over the world, right? So it works both ways. The same goes here. This is the opposite here. Actually, if you're having your gateway, this port number, you can allow any message from anywhere in the world to reach your gateway. These are email messages. Okay. SMTP ports are for email messages. So if an email message comes, a certain tag SMTP, let it in no matter where it's coming from in the world. You define these rules. People who work with the ITC, they define the rules. Firewalls. You gotta be careful how you design it, else you get no traffic, right? Or you get all the traffic in the world and you don't like it. These are different kind of devices. These are intrusion detection systems. Right? What they do is they monitor traffic at various points of your network. And the traffic packets are examined to detect intrusion intent. These are a little bit more sophisticated. They use neural networks. They use thresholds to statistics. And some in-depth analysis. They're smarter than the firewalls. Again, they don't just burn packets. They look at a bunch of packets and they infer from it something is bad. And then they don't burn it. They just tell you, like, hey, I think this is bad. You're the administrator. You figure out what you want to do with it. Right? So that's how they work. You see those magnifying glasses there? Each of those magnifying glasses is an intrusion detection system. It could be a piece of software. It could be a piece of hardware. Okay. And they aid or support firewall functionality as well. you see there, number 1 is right behind the external firewall. Number 2 is very close to the internet. Number 3 is very close to your big servers. And intrusion detection system number 4 is very close to your workstation. Okay. The ones that are very close to your workstation generally can be in your workstation itself. And those will be pieces of software. The ones that are at the ITC generally are big pieces of hardware that cost a few thousand reals, sometimes 100,000 reals or more. And they do some very nice analysis of the traffic, and they decide whether data should be let in or should be let in.
Symantec has IPS. Host-based IPS.
Who's that?
Symantec, the software store in workstation.
Do we have it here?
Yep.
So one of our colleague says that at QFQM we have IPS, an advanced technology, which is a combination of the IPS and the firewalls. It just detects and it burns, 2 in 1. That's very good. That's why we're safe here, right? Now, further definitions. This is very important because you should know what malware is, right? It's bad data. I've been talking about bad data all the time. This is the actual bad data, right? It's a piece of software that causes harm to your computer, machine, or your network. Very common classes are E3. You can add spyware, etc. to it. Those are some classes that don't differentiate discretely. Viruses, essentially, they attach themselves to a normal file. They're generally executable in nature. If you double-click a virus, it's going to do something bad inside the computer. In these files, what it does is it can delete your entire registry file. The registry file where you have entries, HKey entries. You can burn that up. What it could do is it could modify files, it's a sophisticated virus, and so on. Worms are a subclass of the virus. Okay, what they do is they travel through your computer network and they infect other machines by themselves. You don't need any intervention. You don't need to send an email message. Worm just travels through the network. Whatever port is open goes through those port numbers and it affects other machines in a very short period of time. Again, it does bad things like delete files, modify, tamper, sniff, etc. And finally, we have Trojans. And I got a last little picture here. Trojan is a Trojan horse, essentially. This was done during past centuries for warfare, right? You had people or governments gifting other governments things. So one of the gifts was a horse, a wooden horse, very big. This is pretty big, it's not as small as it looks. And then there were like guys sitting inside it. And I say, hey, there's a gift from our government to your government. Take it. Look at it. Well, thank you very much. And keep the gift. That time when everyone is sleeping, Trojan horse opens itself. So people walk down and they affect your infrastructure from the inside. Right? They help you in a war, it's going to take this. Right? That's a Trojan horse. Same goes for IT. You have a piece of software that looks very good and friendly. And then when you open it, or when it says already installed on your machine, it does bad things. Primarily, it's a backdoor. What it does is it just sniffs your username, password, keystrokes, whenever your typing goes in. It sends those out to a certain IP address, and then they get compromised. Okay, that's how serious it is. Okay.